guys, welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with Jay Money and the Shark. It's Friday. It's payday. We're trying to get some cash as well, man. I'm your host, Jay Money is Money. This is my guy as well, Sharks in Sports. What's up with you, Shark? Everything cool with you, my guy?
Absolutely taking a breath. Beautiful, beautiful morning. 11 a.m., 10 Central. A beautiful free Friday, October 21st, 2022. Jay Money, a big card today. 11 games, I believe. A lot of angles. Guys want officials. We have officials. Lead the way, and let's get into it.
Let's get straight to it, my guy. We don't like to waste the people's time here. Let's go over here to the streets of Washington here, my guys. We got the Wizards laying 2 points versus the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, Bulls coming off an upset win versus the Miami Heat there. No Zach LaVine. He won't be in this game as well. They didn't seem to miss him last game, Shark. How you like some in this game?
I do. On a suddenly not so casual free Friday. Just said it. We'll say it again. October 21st, 2022. The buy hat is not in the mail and is not on my head. However, we are taking a home team here. I'm at money line 115 last night. Would not talk you off -2 now. A lot going on here. As Jay said, a funky spot for the Bulls. Of course, only game 2 on the campaign, but you find them coming off a situational high, an outright win as a significant underdog in Miami. Now they hang out on the East Coast, back-to-back games within the same division on the road. And guess what, Jay? We get our first back-to-backs tomorrow night and third and fours, the death zone spot of travel and fatigue. However, the Bulls are caught in a sandwich spot with their divisional home opener tomorrow night against the Cavaliers. And you look at Washington here. We saw Washington win and cover game 1 on the road at Indiana. That's not really telling us much of a story here, but what really is telling us a story is a rebooted roster. 1 year in the books, Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, couple pieces coming over here from Denver, and really a much better unit, and a unit that started last year on a heater as well. And we go through the numbers of this matchup. The line functionality is telling us an excellent, excellent story. Washington's on a triple revenge game. They lost all 3 games last year. They've lost 7 out of 8 straight up to the Bulls. And you go back to the first matchup last year. It was January 1st, New Year's Day. The Chicago Bulls were laying 2 points on the road and did win the game 120-119. Jay, you and I remember this very well. The Bulls started last year 26-10 straight up. And DeMar DeRozan was hitting buzzer beaters like he was a cross between Michael Jordan, Steph Curry, and LeBron James. In that game, DeMar DeRozan did hit a buzzer-beating game-winning 3. Then the Bulls came home. They laid a strong 6. I had that correctly. They did cover it 130-122. And later on in late March, they came on the road on a strong -4 and did hammer the Wizards late season 107-94. So when you win by 13 on a 4 and this comes in around 2, pick them and steam the other direction. Line functionality is all over it. All narratives are all over it on both sides of the game. 1 unit official play. Washington money line and -2. Jay?
I like it, my guy. I couldn't talk you off there. Definitely trying to catch them. The Wizards started off last year really hot as well, my guy. So I don't have anything on this game. So let's go ahead and get to the next one. I wish you guys the best of luck on this one, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Indiana here. We got the Pacers laying 2.5 points versus the Spurs here, Shark. Spurs on the road getting 2.5 points as well. Miles Turner won't be. I think he tripped over a ball and the ball will enter the basket or something like that. Miles Turner, I don't understand why he's in all these trade rumors, man. He's one of the most injury-prone guys out there. But Pacers laying 2.5 versus the Spurs, Sharks. Spurs coming off getting smoked.
Yeah. This is probably my least favorite game on the entire card tonight. We said this when Charlotte played down in San Antonio, of course, in the opener. I had mentioned I thought Charlotte might catch a Joe Public kind of short special, and they certainly did. And I think we're really catching just an absolutely lackluster Spurs team here. However, I just don't know what to make of Indiana either. Indiana in the opener did not cover a home line, very close to this, right around a 2.5. They were the underdog side of that game. The line is shading towards Indiana. You get a revenge game for the Spurs. I'm not sure how much the motivation really plays in an out-of-conference one-off like this. I really have nothing on this game.
Yeah, this is a tough game. We could really, I'll be honest with you guys, as the season gets on, I like to break down every game with you guys, but this isn't something that I could even suggest betting on. It's a true toss-up. 2 teams that's going to be towards the bottom of the league, guys. Obviously, the Pacers hadn't even traded their guys yet, so I really find it find hard spots to back this Pacer team and Spurs team as well. In theory, you would like to take teams that's coming off games where they got absolutely insulted, their quality insulted as well. Pop after the game said, "Look, you can't get past, you can't overlook these games. You just kind of have to own it and realize that we got our ass kicked." So the type of guy that he is, in theory, the Spurs should come back with at least better effort. Doesn't mean that they're going to win or cover a spread, but should definitely see a lot better effort from the Spurs. The Pacers team, not necessarily sure what you're going to get, guys. So this is a tank for Wembanyama. The second game of the season, it's a tank for Wemby over here, guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Charlotte here, Charlotte. We got the Hornets here getting 6.5 points versus the Pelicans. It would be nice to get LaMelo Ball back here for the Hornets. They're coming off a blowout win. This is their home opener as well here. This Pelicans team, I'll be honest with you, unless maybe they're in a back-to-back spot or 3rd and 4th, just a terrible travel spot, I don't think this is the type of team that we'll be betting against a ton this year. I think that Willie Green could really be a great candidate for Coach of the Year. If this team has like an over 500 record, they get to 50 wins. Willie Green should be the top guy for Coach of the Year, in my opinion. Only second year, Shark. He's really changing the culture over there. You like some in this game?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the shirt here. J Money and the Shark. We like cash quick, fast as we go.
Hey, we got them shirts. Shirts as well. $20, man. $20 for the shirt. If you'd like to support the show, J Money and the Shark, man. 50% of the proceeds go to Shark, man. Y'all go hit the website, jmoneyismoney.com, or DM either one of us. We got shirts from small up to 3XL. Go ahead, Shark.
A message from our sponsors there, the shirt company. But we do appreciate the support, guys. Obviously, the chat is popping off. We know it's an early time for you guys as we flow through the day. Huge card. Let's stay the course as we're going on a continuingly suddenly not so casual free Friday. We're going to the road locker room here, and we're taking New Orleans. I'm at 6.5 now. I think a few sevens, try to get 6.5, 1 unit official. As Jay said, this is purely a bye team. We've seen one game. I think we have seen more than one game. And we mentioned this when we capped the previous game against Brooklyn. But you go back to the play-in tournament last year, and you really found, I think, a showcase to Willie Green, the coach. This team was down going into the fourth quarter, and he said, guys, listen, we have one quarter. Show us your professionalism. Couple more words, maybe some more choice words, but it was an incredibly inspiring speech. It was more than just inspiring from Hollywood movie script. It was very connected to his guys. And this group is just ready to turn up. You get CJ McCollum in the prime of his career, finally out from under the shadows of Damian Lillard in Portland. He's going to lead this group. He's going to get BI going. Zion Williamson hasn't played in a year. He's incredibly inspired. This team is ready to turn the hell up. And you just find a great spot to buy New Orleans in a double revenge game on a line functionality spot. Go back to last year. Charlotte did hammer New Orleans in New Orleans by 22 points, 142 to 120 on a -3 on the road. Came home. It was short by a hook, but this does matter in professional basketball, as you guys saw last night with the Clippers covering by a hook. -5.5 is short by a half. They did not cover the game. They won by 3. Now it flips from -5.5 all the way over to +5. 10.5 gap off a win. It's showcasing everything you want to buy from the Pelicans and the Hornets off a road win against the hapless Spurs. Not indicative of any sort of long-term quality here. 1 unit, -6, 6.5. J Money, talk to me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. We hopped on this one last night, guys. You didn't check out the night shows. I'm going to start doing some around 10 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Eastern, p.m. Eastern, it is. But hopped on the Pelicans here, -6. Everything that Shark said, I don't really need to say again. Obviously, lost 2 out of the 3 seasons, 2 out of the 3 games last year. You see the line move heavily towards them, and I agree with it here. I think the Pelicans are going to be one of the type of teams like the Grizzlies last year, like me and Shark was talking about yesterday, where they just play so much harder than – and I was ahead of this as well, Shark. I said this, I believe last year, that this Pelicans team is going to be a team to watch out for. They made the play-in tournament. They made the playoffs last year. Obviously got bounced in the first round, but we see them taking steps. I think this is the type of team as far as the bench as well, guys. When their bench is light years better than half of the NBA's, man. This team plays so hard. I like guys like Jose Alvarado. He's really rubs off on the rest of the team. This is a professional group. They were professional before they had Zion back. You know what I'm saying, Shark? So now you got Zion back, one of the big mismatches in the league here. Yeah, I think the Pelicans will be a sustained buy for the whole season, man. This team's going to be mowing teams down, my guys. Just get those Pelican shirts, get those J Money and Shark shirts as well. Get the socks, man, whatever, man. Pelicans vibes all year, my guys. Yeah, I'm on a -6. Couldn't talk you off 6.5 here. Smack City spot for the Pelicans here. I wouldn't be surprised if they covered the trifecta spot, to be honest with you here. Let's go over here to Brooklyn here, Star. We got going to the streets of Brooklyn here. We got the Nets laying 2.5 points versus the Raptors. As soon as this line came out, laying 4, Shark. It did get hit down to 2.5 rather quickly there. So some money came in on the Raptors rather aggressively. They do get Ken Burch back. Joe Harris coming back for the Nets, so they get even more 3-point shooters. What are you thinking about this game?
This is a tough game for me. As people know very well at this point, Brooklyn just has a hard time playing home basketball. And we're never entirely sure why that is, but it's generally psychological. It's something about, it might be bigger than the team. It's the arena, it's even the staff, it's the air, it's the lighting, it's where they are in Brooklyn. It's just the demographic of the players versus New York City. Maybe they don't like the vibe there or something, because New York City is such a unique place versus the rest of the country. It's just not connecting for them there. And we just don't know why. We could speculate on this for hours and hours. But, you go back to last year, the road team was actually 4-0 ATS in the matchup, which is a bit funky and should be unsustainable. I think by a default point, obviously not capping Toronto versus Brooklyn, but when you see a 4-pack of plays between conference rivals and the road team covers every game the previous season, it should lean towards the home team finding some efficiency. You also find Brooklyn here in a double revenge game. Brooklyn did get absolutely smoked on February 28th, 2022, 133-97 on the strongest line at that point. Toronto was laying, I believe, 4 points in that game. Then it came back. And you guys remember Brooklyn last year in the regular season threw out basically a new roster every single game. It was just ridiculous. And on March 1st, Toronto did get them at home, 109-108. It was a non-cover. Toronto was laying a very inflated 8.5 points in that game against a team that was essentially just role players. Kevin Durant did not play. Kyrie Irving did not play. Harden, I believe, had been moved at that point. Whatever. So you get a double revenge game. And you get a situational spot where theoretically Brooklyn should improve. As you said, probably sharp steam on Toronto. Toronto's opener, you saw the game. It was right on the number. I have a feeling this game could hover right on the number. Toss game for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Shout out to my guy Chris in the chat, man. Chris be capping. Raptors are 4-0 ATS in the last 5 games in Brooklyn. Since 2019, Raptors are 5-2 straight up and 6-1 against the spread in Brooklyn, and 3-0 as dogs in this spot. So I appreciate my guy Chris coming through with the stats there. I didn't like the money coming in, guys. I lean Nets here. I feel like the money came in, give you even a little bit of better number with the Nets. This team is head and shoulders better than the Raptors offensively. This league is all about offense, guys. This game will be about how it's called. The Raptors, they like to keep their hands on you, right? They're really a pushy type of team, sticky defense type of team. If those foul, the refs can't always call them, right? Because they don't really want to slow down the game. In this particular game versus superstar players like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, if KD is getting those whistles, it's going to be a long night for the Raptors. They have to win with defense. They don't have many 3-point shooters. They don't have much offense coming off the bench as well. So this is a game where, simply put, the Nets have a ton of more offense, and if they're getting the calls, I could see them win this game by double digits. At some point, the home thing for the Nets has to flip at some point, my guys. We don't know when, but this is a different group this year. They have a bit better players this year as well. They have their guys back. Kyrie can play home games the whole year as well, and at least Steve Nash at least trying to show something that he's trying to take some steps in coaching. So heavy lean to the Nets here, -2.5. It is somewhat of a toss-up game for me to go ahead and bet it, but I just got a feeling that the Nets get this job done with their offense, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Miami here, Shark. We got the Heat getting 2.5 points versus the Celtics here. The Celtics here on the road. This line come out, Celtics -1. I'm talking with my guys, Celtics guy. They're like, hey, I take that in a heartbeat. It's come up to 2.5 here, Shark. You like anything in this game?
Oh, this is tough. This is real tough. I think early season Boston's going to be hard to figure out. Of course, we can't necessarily go off one game sample against Philadelphia and say that's who they're going to sustainably be. I don't know what's going to go on with this game, to be perfectly honest. You want to take Miami in the revenge spot off the playoffs. Of course, Jay, I know you absolutely love that angle, and I don't disagree. It's a great angle. However, I just don't know how to cap Boston right now. Boston confounded me last year in the regular season. They confounded me the previous year in the regular season. I just can't figure them out. And it's like that zigzag. When they zag, we zig. When we zig, they zag. I don't get it. And, part of it is just these young guys, inconsistency. And now we add a new element, of course, with Joe Mazzulla coach. And you mentioned it the other night, but basically a player coach team now. So it's like you ask yourself one question. are Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, did they turn the corner from a professionalism standpoint, a mentality standpoint, where they are able to be that voice on the floor and in the locker room? They certainly showcased it in game 1. Game 2 is a lot different. It's a road game in Miami against a turned-up Miami team who just tanked to Chicago in the look-ahead game. And all the motivation and the emotion in this game points to Miami. As you mentioned, the line opened at 1, steamed up to 2.5. I honestly think this is a Miami spot, but I just think the line is right in that hover, hook, coin flip zone potentially. And Boston, for me right now, I need to see more.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, the Celtics didn't look totally good, guys, in game 1. I know they won their fast break. Just think about this, Shark. They won the fast break points, I believe, 34-4, and still barely won the game by 8 or 9 points, right? They was looking at the numbers, looking at the box score. They should have absolutely smoked the Sixers in there, especially as lazy defense they were playing. Embiid wasn't playing well, and then yet the Sixers still kind of sort of have a chance to win that game late. I know Celtics pulled away in the fourth quarter, but I mean, the Sixers were up 8 a few times in that game, man. If the Celtics play that same way here, they won't get as many fast break points. The Heat are much better defensively. They will get back on defense as well and make sure these guys aren't beat them. They know how the Celtics like to play. This could be the game. I mean, it's only the second game of the season, but this is a game where Missoula can outcoach Rob Rivers over there. You're going up against Spoelstra here, so this is a game where I think Spoelstra does have. I think the Heat do have the coaching advantage as well. They have the players. They're coming off a loss, probably looking ahead to this game. I'm looking at the interviews after the game. They didn't seem to even care about their loss, man. That shows you right there. These playoff revenge spots. I'm telling you, especially when they're early in the season, guys. These players have these spots circled. This is the team that kicked them out of the playoffs, guys. So I'm looking towards the Heat here. That's the only way I look, plus the 2.5. I think this is probably a money line spot. What did Jimmy say after the loss last night? It's okay. We'll be all right. We're going to win the next game. Everything points to them looking ahead to this one, having this spot circle as well. Can't forget, still no Robert Williams. I know that they played good versus Embiid, but they're going against a different beast here tonight. Heat have taken a step back, guys. They don't have as much as offensive pop, especially off the bench, but this is a game where I think they could win with their defense. They're going to be turned up, motivated at the house. Heavy lean to the Heat, money line plus the 120 for me, my guys. I might personally sprinkle some on this. It's just playoff revenge spots. They cash at a very high rate, my guys. And simple, last thing I'll say about it, I don't want to bet against them. So it's either playoff revenge or I stay off the game. Let's go over here to the streets of New York here, Sharp. We got the Knicks laying 7 points versus the Pistons, my guy.
Well, the premiere of a buy hat that I should have had over a year ago, paying us all sorts of tickets and cash money quick, fast. We are taking Detroit at plus 6.5, 1 unit. And this is just the spot you want to take. And we'll start with the Knicks. The Knicks come home opener of a very representative game in Memphis. An overtime loss, an ATS cover, and you find Detroit coming in here against the Knicks. Jay and I talked about this off the record yesterday when we started to go through this. And what did I say to you, Jay? Don't the Knicks own the Pistons? And you were like, I think so. Hold on, let me look at it. Well, we looked at it. Yes, the Knicks do. They've won 8 straight ball games against Detroit. You get a huge generational shift, and you get to buy Detroit where they function fantastically as an underdog over 5 points. And then you start to go through the line functionality of this matchup last year. Early on last year in December, Detroit did go into Madison Square Garden at plus 7.5 and get hammered by 14, 105-91. About a week later on 12/29/21, New York went into Detroit off a minus 7.5 home where it should have come down to 4.5. It came up to 8.5, showcasing Knicks' strength. We were on that game that particular day. We did cash the ticket. The Knicks actually won the fourth quarter in that game, 30-14, to cover an 8.5 by a half point, 94-85. Then later on in March, off of an 8.5 on the road, it came short on the road for the Knicks, 4.5. We had that correctly as well with Detroit. The Knicks won the game again late, 104-102. So what you're seeing here is Detroit is getting now covers. Now they're coming towards a win. Now they go on the road at plus 6.5. 4.5 should be 7.5 or 8. It's short. It's where you want to buy ultra revenge, motivation, situational spot, numerical analysis. Detroit Pistons on the road, 1 unit plus 6.5.
I couldn't talk you off there, Shark. I don't have anything. I don't have anything on this game, so I'm not even going to waste your time. Shark broke it down for you guys, liking the Pistons there plus the 7, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Atlanta. Here we got the Hawks laying 9 points at home versus the Magic here in this one. Shark, you faded the Hawks correctly. Well, depending on what line you got, it's crazy because some people got Hawks minus 9.5 and then they won. So Hawks minus 9.5 cashes. The Rockets plus 10.5 cashes as well, man. So nice little middle spot. But Shark, how are we looking at this game?
This is a tough one. As I mentioned, I don't like the Spurs Pacers game. This is my second least favorite game. I think this is just going to be really tight on the number. I mean, I think the Hawks do win the game, but I think you look at the first game of the season, you just saw how sharp these lines potentially are going to be for the Hawks against non-playoff teams. Of course, this is a divisional game, so theoretically there's more motivation on both sides. The Hawks did throttle the Magic multiple times last year. Again, you look at the Magic on the other side of this game, going back to the first game of the season. That game was also right on the number. They were plus 3.5. They lost by 4 points to Detroit on the road. So when you see in a very small window, again, we're data deficient, you see both teams in the matchup coming off of basically pushes in the first game. I fear this is really a one bucket line. I think it's going to hover right around it.
Yeah, that's a good point there. My sharp guys are leaning the Magic here, plus the 8.5. It's up to 9 now. So some public money coming on the Hawks. I can see the Sharps taking the points with the Magic here. Just like we don't really want to lay double-digit point spreads with the Hawks here early in the season while they are still figuring things out. They're figuring out the rotations, figuring out the bench rotations as well. And Murray's still getting used to playing with Trae Young, guys. So I just hope that makes sense. I just feel like these are the type of lines that we should be laying with the Hawks mid-season when they're really in the groove, when they figure things out. Not right now, what are still trying to figure things out. So I think the value would be on the dog there. They have a little bit more continuity, and I'll go back to it as well. They have 5 trees out there, guys. The Magic, if they wanted to, could be a mini Cleveland Cavaliers of last year. They're definitely going to need Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs to play better, though, to be kind of sort of like that Darius Garland. But they have the 3 bigs that they can throw out there near the paint. They can make it really tough to score inside the paint, my guys. So I'll keep reiterating that because I really think the Magic are working on something there, kind of emulating what the Cavs did over there, my guys. 5 guys over 6'10" that they could throw. I'd like to see them throw them all out there at the same time. Let's go to the streets of Houston here. Start H-Town. We got the Grizzlies laying 6.5 points versus the Rockets here. Let's just hope that the Grizzlies go all out in this one, guys. It's around that time of the year. Well, it's still early season, Shark, but we got to start looking to ahead. I like the Mavs tomorrow. I like the Mavs tomorrow, my guys. But yeah, Grizzlies here laying 6.5, Shark. First game with back-to-back.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand Mavs tomorrow, and I understand the fandom, but just looking at it from my perspective.
No fandom, Shark.
Oh, no? Oh, okay.
No fandom. Spot play.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm looking at this. I don't know how to make it. I don't know what to make of this because I'm not taking it officially. But my first angle here is I think this is a tank spot tonight for Memphis because tomorrow they have a national game at Dallas in the division, 8:30 p.m. NBA TV, and that's a revenge game for Memphis. So I think tonight is the trap spot, and the line is telling you a trap number here. Memphis should be laying far, far more than 5.5, 6.5 points. The last 2 ball games they played in Houston, they were laying 10.5 and 12.5. They did cover the most recent one. I believe that game was without Ja Morant, and you guys know how effective they were last year without Ja Morant, and it was basically Desmond Bane, Triple J, and Dylan Brooks just running the show, the ATS just juggernaut train. You get a revenge game for Houston. You get an environment, again, where we look at what I just said about the Atlanta environment. When Houston is pushing their opener, I do fear this is over-adjusted and right on the number. Psychologically speaking, though, I do think for Memphis, this is more of a letdown spot than tomorrow. I think they might conserve energy here because tomorrow is a bigger game for them in theory. I would lean Houston here if I had a free play. I'm not on the game officially.
Yeah, that's a good point. My guy Tony Bates in the chat looking at Rockets money line there. I always appreciate you guys posting your picks in the chat, sides, totals, whatever, man. We appreciate that, especially props as well, because we're not 2 guys that really look deep into props. So for you guys that are paying attention to it, post those picks in the chat, man. It'd be hard to see the Grizzlies overlook this game, but this is a team that took somewhat of a step back. I feel like they need to get these games that they can win. It's going to be a really tough spot for them tomorrow, whether they let down this game. Maybe if they get blown out by 20 or something, maybe they'll come to play tomorrow. It's still 3rd and 4 with back-to-back with travel as well, with the Mavs coming in here pissed off with the rest advantage as well. So you guys can take the Grizzlies tomorrow if you like, but it's up to you guys. But it's a tough game for me here. I'm not looking to bet it. Could definitely be a look-ahead spot for the Grizzlies, or they could go ahead and get this job done tonight, and then they're likely taking a loss tomorrow, my guys. The Rockets, they don't have many bigs. If guys like Steven Adams play, this is an NBA, guys, so it could be some rest, even though it's early in the season. But I know if you're looking at props, Rockets don't really have a center over there. Steven Adams should eat. John Morant could get whatever he want in the paint. Desmond Bain, these guys could literally go to the paint every single time and get whatever they want. Rockets do not play a ton of defense, my guys. Brandon Clark coming off the bench. Yeah, it could be scary hours. This line did open up at 5, really short for the Grizzlies. Did come up 1.5 overnight, so sharp money coming in on the Grizzlies there, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Minnesota here, guys. We got the Wolves laying 8 points versus the Utah Jazz, guys. Shark, apparently the Jazz are going to the NBA Finals here. You like the Jazz in this game?
No, I don't. And we'll see them in the finals in June, I'm sure. I think it will be Jazz over Dubs game 7, and of course they'll go on to sweep Boston in the finals. But looking at the roster, Jay and I were talking about this the other day. When you go down this roster, I think this team will cover spreads, and it's because all the players they have on the court, although a bit of a motley crew, a little mismatched, they're all professional grinders, and they're all guys that had to prove something at one point or the other, or come from a great mental background, if you will. I'm just going to go down it for a half second here. I just pulled it up. You got a guy, Colin Sexton, coming out of Alabama. He's only 23 years old. He's already been moved on. He was basically just like thrown by the wayside by the Cavs. So he's a hell of an athlete. He's a dribble drive lefty. He will bring energy at all points in time. You got Lauri Markkanen here coming in out of Arizona. The guy is just a walking bucket from 3. I mean, he's a 6'11 flex. He's honestly far better than the league has done for him. You get a guy, Jordan Clarkson, of course, coming off from the Lakers prior, coming here. I mean, the guy is just another walking bucket, and he's just continuously pissed off. And then you get a bunch of random guys like Taylor Horton Tucker, Jared Vanderbilt, and a couple other dudes, Malik Beasley. These are all dudes that are going to give you their A game no matter what. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, Jay. Patrick Beverley is pretty much like the champion of this class of basketball player, like the grinder player who didn't really get a lot of press and burn and just made it. These Jazz players for me are all like that. So I think they're going to cover a lot of big spreads. And of course, that has nothing to do with the first game against the Nuggets or whatever. Just a long-term comment this season, particularly before New Year's and lines are unadjusted. These 8.5 9s, I think, could come down to about 5.5s and 4.5s when books start to see, okay, this team is not a playoff team. They're not an all-star team, but they do have these grinders. And on that, I would lean Utah in this game. I think Minnesota would go Bear. They showcased what they're going to do in the first game. They did melt off the game in the third quarter. They could have beat Oklahoma City by 35 if they wanted to, and they just didn't. Minnesota does start the season with 7 straight games against non-playoff teams, so they do need to win these games to probably go 7-0 to start the campaign. I'd be surprised if they were not 7-0 straight up after 7 ball games, but I do think these lines are going to be tough for them to cover. Free play, I'm on Jazz, but I'm not in the game.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Shout out to LJ as well, coming through with those prop picks. He's looking at Malik Beasley points over. Those are the props that I love as well. Guy going up against his older team. He's definitely going to have some extra juice, some extra motivation there. Guys in the chat, man, you got to stop saying that certain players are out. If they're out, that's one thing, but you can't just be saying DeMar DeRozan is out. People are saying they go into the game, they got props on them. I don't see it anywhere, and I don't see the line moving as well. So obviously Levine is out in this game, but DeRozan, everything I see right now, I don't even see him questionable or pop up on the injury report. They do have a game tomorrow, guys, but that's all the more reason why DeRozan probably plays today and then probably rest tomorrow while Levine comes back. So I just wanted to clear it up because y'all got me looking for shit as well, man, because I'm like, I'm finna hop on them Wizards with Shark over there, man. DeRozan out as well, shit, but line had moved. But yeah, for this game, it's a tough. I'm not betting it. Gobert going up against his old squad. This Jazz team is not as good as they've showed in the first game. Obviously, it's a long season, a long sample size. We will learn more about these teams. I do not think the Jazz are buy on, my guys. Even that big spreads, it's just me personally. You guys can, you can take the Jazz if you like, man, but I don't have a strong play on this this game. Gobert going up against his old squad. I'm sure he's telling his guys, let's smash this team, man. But can they do it? Not sure. It's a tough game for me, man. Let's go over here to the streets of Golden State here. We're going to San Francisco here, Shark. We got the Warriors, your Warriors, laying 5 points versus the Nuggets, my guy.
Yeah, this is another game that kind of fits the model of the Miami-Boston game, as you said, playoff revenge. I think the Miami one is slightly more emphatic because obviously that was the Eastern Conference Finals. This was a first-round matchup, Dubs in 5. You go back to last year in the regular season, the big narrative was that Denver had owned the Warriors in the regular season, actually. If you remember, Denver did win the first 3 last year and then, of course, did not cover the final one, March 10th, 2022, Dubs 113-102, which we had correctly there. That was a strong line move to the Dubs. The line is moving towards the Dubs. Obviously, one road coming home at 5.5, 6. Should be around 4. It's showcasing a little bit of line functionality strength to the Dubs here. Dubs are kind of like the Celtics for me. I don't know how much we can really cross-reference their first game with the next game. And I think we're going to learn, and we're going to have a much better template as to how effective the Dubs and the Celtics will be ATS going forward within the next 2 to 4 weeks. Jay, I know you like the revenge angle here, so I'll throw it back to you. I don't really have anything on this one.
Yeah, I don't know the way I look at this game as the Nuggets, guys. They did play, like I say, the preseason isn't much, but they showed concerted effort that they wanted to win the game. I always say playoff revenge. It's not something I bet against. We know when the player get into the players' minds, those are the main games that they really want to come back and bounce back from when you get kicked out of playoffs. I feel like first round is even better. You saw this team go on to the championship. I really feel like it. You really get up. You see this team go and win a championship now, especially with you being a Western Conference opponent. They have all the aspirations to get there, reigning MVP and Jokic as well. I just feel like this is the type of team that really wants to put forward a great effort tonight. What do we see? A clear look ahead for the Nuggets. It's almost the exact same thing as the Heat, even though they didn't. The only thing is they were at the house. They didn't get blown out as bad. I bought out that Nuggets game real quick, man. I hopped on them, the Jazz +9 in the first quarter. I'm like, the Nuggets aren't playing a lick of defense in this game, man. So I was not surprised to see them get blown out like that. This is the game where they come back with something, my guys. If you guys don't like it, you don't have to take it. That's what I always say, man. It's your money that you're betting with. I like the Nuggets here. I got them at +6 last night. It's down to 5, down to 4.5 some spots. I agree with the move down, guys. I see the Nuggets money line sitting at 180. That's exactly what I see from the Nuggets here, a 180 type of game. They will play defense today. You will see Jokic come in trying to score the ball damn near every time he's an absolute matchup nightmare for the Warriors as well. Give me the Nuggets in this game plus the 5.5, plus the 5. If you guys don't like to play, don't take it. It's that simple, my guys. So that's what I'm on. Hey, bet what you like, man. Let's go over here to the Blazers here. We're going to the streets of Portland, Shark. We got the Blazers getting 5 points versus the Suns.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough game. You have a lot of moving parts. Of course, you saw where Phoenix came out incredibly lackluster in the opener against Dallas. I mean, they were down, 20 points and made a gigantic push to somehow win that game. I was very surprised by that because we had discussed before that game, we thought they were broken off the playoffs, and we thought this group just would not find it. I don't know what to make of this group, really. Obviously, Jay Crowder in the offseason, a lot of controversy and things, and this group trying to run it back off that just brutal Game 7 loss to Dallas last year. My original lean in this game, I thought the game flow might reverse. I thought Phoenix first half might be a look, just based on the general idea that at home you come out so flat, you go on the road, it flips, and you come out with a bigger effort in the first half. It's in the locker room. Hey, guys, we don't want to go down 20 to Portland. And you go back to last year in the very early season, Portland did hammer them at home by, I believe, over 25 points. So that should be ripe in their mind. Again, it is 82 games, the interweb of regular season NBA basketball. These guys don't care about every single game. And you go to the other side of this game, you do find Portland coming in here in a triple revenge game. They have lost 3 in a row to the Suns. Portland has more motivation. We suggested this the other day. Chauncey Billups, Lillard, and a young roster. Again, Lillard's the only player over 30 on that roster. Should be a bye team ATS in these positions as underdogs. The line is hovering in a middle zone spot, 4.5, 5. Again, lean Phoenix early. I think Portland game is probably the side, but nothing official here.
Yeah, no, that's facts right there. Shout out to my guy Ronald, man. He said respect to Jay for doing this multiple times a day, every day. This is what I do, man. Doing about 4 or 5 shows a day all year, my guys. And we want to make them night shows a thing as well, man. But this game, I can only look towards Suns. I don't like the fact they got down that big to the Mavs. It's good that they came back and won. Obviously, that was the playoff game. We hear Booker saying after the game just speaks volumes to the playoff revenge angle when he says when you get your ass kicked, when you get kicked out of the playoffs by a team, you remember that. You want to come back and right the ship, which we already know that. I just love hearing it actually come from the player's mouth. The Suns probably going to be a middle tier type of team over there in the West. The Blazers are a bottom tier team, man. There's no rail around it. I'm sure I hate it for Dame. It's tough, man, but the Blazers are a bottom tier team. Doesn't mean that they can't cover this game or win it straight up. It's just I'm not looking to take them in these type of spots, man. It's a tough game for me. It's Suns or nothing for me. Don't like what they have going on in the locker room over there. It's not necessarily buy-on situation. If it was last year's Suns, we'd be taking this shit in a heartbeat. But this team got some. I'm not sure what they got going. Can't put my finger on it yet. But I don't think the Blazers are necessarily buy on, in my opinion, especially up against a good defensive team like the Suns. So with lean Suns, but I wouldn't bet this game, man. But real quick, man, let's talk about some shirts here, man. Shark, show them the shirt. If you like, get one of these JS Shark shirts, man. I got like 500 shirts sitting over here. We about to move, man. Y'all help me out with the move, my guys. Y'all get a good look shirt. Get good luck shirt, man. Y'all get these shirts, put them on. It's time to cash. $20, man. $20 off, man. Smack City shirts as well. Us Against the Bookies. Let's get some cash. All shirts, $10 off, man. Small all the way up to 3XL. And you get a free pair of J Money approved glasses as well, man. Let's get this cash, my God. We like cash quick and fast, Shark. Let's get to some free picks. What you liking on tonight's card?
Absolutely. 3 top plays, 9 words of lifestyle. Ride the wave or get out of the water. Buy hat engaged for the first time on the broadcast. We're taking Detroit on the road to Madison Square Garden, plus 6.5, 1 unit. We're back in Washington on the money line at 115. Wouldn't talk you off at 2, And the first play, we are continuing to ride New Orleans Pelicans on the road within the Eastern Conference at -6 in a double revenge game against a Charlotte team that blew out an awful Spurs team, which is not representative of how they're going to be long-term. Free Friday, beautiful Friday morning, 36 minutes in the books. J Money, a pleasure. Close them out and let's dominate.
Yes, sir, man. Let's get this freaking cash today, my guys. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to my guy Chris, man. Y'all hit that like button. Over 620 people watching live. We come down here giving free picks every single day. I'm doing 4 shows a day for you guys. It's Us Against the Bookies, man. For me tonight, I'm going with the Pelicans in the first half. We're doubling up on the Pelicans. I wouldn't talk you off out of trifecta spot as well. I see Smack City game from the Pellies tonight. We flying with the Pellies. Give them first half -3.5. First full game -6.5 as well for the Pelicans Smack City spot. And I'm going with the Nuggets as well. Revenge game, Jay. Playoff revenge game, Jay, as well. This Nuggets team may even get deeper in the playoffs than the Warriors this year, my guys. I really see a focused effort from them. I'm taking them first half plus the 3, plus the 2.5, whatever you're going to do. And also a full game as well. I'm hopping on them +6 last night. I like them as well. Plus the 4.5, plus the 5. You see the spread cratering down. I think that's because the Nuggets get this win here, guys. I think that money line was real indicative to me. 180. That's the turn that I see from the Nuggets here. They will look like an actual NBA team, Western Conference champion contender type of team today, my guys. Honorable mentions be the Heat money line plus the 120. I really like that spot, man. I might have to sprinkle on that personally. Heat money line plus the 120. Celtics due to come down to earth a tad bit, especially off that first game. Missoula due to come back to earth as well from a much better head coach than him. Lean to the Nets as well, minus the 2.5, my guys. So just trying to help you guys look at the games. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get this cash, my guys. We out.